Imagine the very first moments of the day for a healthy 80-year-old. It rarely begins with urgency, alarms, or the rush to accomplish more. Instead, there is a subtle, intentional pause, a moment when the body is allowed to arrive into itself. This is not idleness, but a profoundly restorative practice. In these early minutes, the nervous system is given a sense of safety, and the body begins to register that the day is not a threat. It is in this calm recognition that resilience quietly forms. Physiologically, the nervous system governs the allocation of energy throughout the body. When it perceives danger or stress, it prioritizes survival over repair, activating fight or flight hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, repeated high cortisol levels can suppress immunity, disrupt sleep, impair cognition, and even accelerate muscular degeneration. By contrast, a gentle, calm start signals to the brain that there is no immediate threat. Cortisol is regulated, parasympathetic tone rises, and the body begins prioritizing repair, circulation, and subtle tissue activation. The same principle applies to cellular function. Cells respond not only to biochemical signals but also to the nervous environment in which they operate. When the nervous system is calm, the body's tissues, organs, and muscles can operate efficiently, repairing micro-damage, maintaining homeostasis, and preserving energy reserves for movement and cognition. In practical terms, this early-day calm might take the form of slow, intentional breathing, gentle stretches that awaken the spine, or simply sitting upright with awareness of posture and foot placement. Science has demonstrated that even 2 to 3 minutes of controlled diaphragmatic breathing can decrease sympathetic nervous system activity, lower heart rate, and improve heart rate variability, which is a strong indicator of resilience and overall health. For the older adult, these simple practices are disproportionately effective because the aging body responds more dramatically to environmental cues than a younger one. The brain and body have accumulated decades of patterns. They are efficient, but often inflexible. When the first actions of the day reinforce safety and control, they create a neurological template that guides behavior for hours to come. Beyond the physiological dimension, there is a psychological and emotional aspect. Healthy elders often report a sense of settling in at the start of the day. This is not meditation in the traditional sense, but a gentle attunement to the self. The mind is less likely to react impulsively, decisions are made with clarity rather than reaction, and small frustrations are absorbed rather than amplified. This calm readiness is a form of cognitive hygiene. It reduces mental fatigue, which is closely linked to both physical fatigue and susceptibility to chronic inflammation. Aging brains retain plasticity, but they are sensitive to stress patterns. Starting the day with a controlled nervous system primes not only the body but the mind to operate at a higher baseline level of clarity, awareness, and adaptive capability. The role of movement in this phase is equally important, but it is secondary to neural readiness. A gentle hip rotation, shoulder roll, or seated spinal twist engages muscles and connective tissues without overtaxing them. Muscles are awakened in the absence of force, which allows proprioceptors and sensory nerves to communicate effectively with the central nervous system. When this communication is optimized, balance, coordination, and muscular response improve subtly but cumulatively over time. The body is effectively rehearsing efficiency before confronting the demands of the day, and the nervous system, already in a calm state, integrates these movements with minimal stress. Perhaps most profoundly, this daily habit of providing safety to the nervous system cultivates trust between the body and the brain. The body learns that it will not be shocked, strained, or forced into instability. The brain interprets this trust as a signal that it can release control in small increments, allowing muscles to engage appropriately, circulation to normalize, and postural alignment to stabilize. Over weeks, months, and years, this simple, intentional beginning to the day creates a compounding effect. Reduced physiological stress, preserved cognitive clarity, improved muscular activation, and enhanced emotional stability. The nervous system, which governs nearly every aspect of aging, becomes an ally rather than an obstacle, and the aging body responds by maintaining strength, balance, and resilience in a way that is subtle, sustainable, and remarkably effective. Another defining habit of healthy 80-year-olds is the way they move throughout the day, frequently, deliberately, and with attention to the signals their bodies send. Unlike younger adults who may rely on bursts of activity or high-intensity exercise, they embrace motion as a continuous dialogue between brain and body. This approach is grounded in the science of aging muscles and the nervous system, which reveals that the strength and coordination we maintain in later decades are less about how much we move and more about how effectively our nervous system communicates with our muscles. Over decades, patterns of inactivity, overuse, or compensatory movement teach the nervous system to prioritize efficiency over optimal function. The muscles that are essential for balance, posture, and stability may gradually become less invited to participate. The glutes, for example, often quietly disengage, while smaller, less efficient muscles take over, creating subtle but cumulative stress on joints and the spine. Healthy elders counteract this process by moving in a way that emphasizes precise recruitment of key muscle groups, even if the movement is slow, gentle, and low impact. This conscious engagement ensures that the muscles most vital for mobility are activated consistently, maintaining their neural connections and functional capacity over time. Movement in this context is not measured by speed, distance, or intensity, but by awareness. Every step, bend, reach, or rotation is an opportunity to reinforce the connection between the brain and the muscle. Neuroscience shows that as we age, the cortical representation of muscles, the map, in the brain that knows how and when to use them, begins to shrink if the muscle is underused. Repeated, mindful activation helps preserve this cortical representation, ensuring that muscles continue to respond reliably when they are needed for balance, stability, or functional tasks. This principle also explains why sporadic high-intensity exercise, while useful in certain contexts, often produces limited benefits for older adults. The body may endure the load, but if the brain does not fully integrate the movement pattern, muscular recruitment remains incomplete, and compensatory strategies persist. Healthy elders, in contrast, prioritize frequent, smaller, controlled movements that provide a clear neurological signal to the muscles. Consistency and variety are equally important. Healthy 80-year-olds do not rely solely on one type of movement. They integrate walking, gentle stretching, strength-focused exercises, and positional changes throughout the day. The nervous system thrives on this variation because it challenges different sensory and motor pathways, preventing overuse of compensatory patterns and maintaining flexibility in both muscles and neural circuits. Movements are often performed slowly and deliberately, which may appear unimpressive to an observer, but this slowness maximizes sensory feedback and enhances motor learning. Every muscle contraction becomes an opportunity to reinforce correct alignment, coordination, and balance. Even small movements, repeated daily, cumulatively preserve strength, stability, and functional independence far more effectively than occasional, intense exertion. Another subtle but critical aspect is how healthy elders listen to the signals of fatigue, stiffness, or discomfort. Instead of ignoring or pushing through these sensations, they adjust movement to respect the body's limits while still maintaining engagement. This nuanced responsiveness strengthens the communication loop between brain and body, teaching the nervous system to regulate effort efficiently and to recruit appropriate muscles without triggering protective tension or unnecessary compensation. Over time, this practice helps prevent injury, reduces chronic pain, and preserves mobility. Equally important is the integration of mental attention with physical movement. The act of moving consciously, rather than passively, activates higher-order brain regions responsible for planning, coordination, and proprioception. This engagement supports cognitive health, reinforces neural pathways, and sustains motor control. Healthy elders demonstrate that functional strength is not purely mechanical, it is neurological, requiring continuous collaboration between mind and body. The nervous system becomes finely tuned, capable of directing muscles to respond fluidly, maintaining balance and posture even under subtle perturbations, and allowing the body to move with both stability and grace. Ultimately, the movements of healthy 80-year-olds reveal a fundamental truth about aging. Longevity and functional independence are less about intensity or volume and more about the quality of communication between the brain and muscles. By moving often, deliberately, and attentively, they maintain the neural and muscular networks that support balance, strength, and resilience. Each small, mindful motion reinforces these networks, creating a compounding effect that preserves the body's capacity to perform, adapt, and thrive long into later life, demonstrating that thoughtful, consistent engagement is the secret to sustainable strength, coordination, and mobility after decades of living. Another habit that distinguishes healthy 80-year-olds is how they approach the relationship between effort and comfort in daily life. They understand, perhaps intuitively, that strength and resilience are not built through strain or extremes, but through movement and activity that respects the body's current state. This principle is reflected in how they move, how they structure their day, and how they respond to the subtle signals their bodies provide. By creating environments and routines in which the body feels safe, they allow muscles, joints, and the nervous system to function optimally, rather than forcing performance at the expense of stability or comfort. Safety, in this sense, is neurological as well as physical. The brain is continuously scanning for potential threats, both external and internal, and when the environment or movement patterns trigger alertness or anxiety, protective tension arises in muscles and connective tissues. Healthy elders often minimize these triggers by choosing gentle, controlled movements, maintaining balanced posture, and avoiding positions or activities that introduce unnecessary risk. In doing so, they preserve neural efficiency and prevent maladaptive compensatory patterns that commonly develop with age. Seated or low-impact movements illustrate this principle clearly. A chair exercise, a gentle stretch, or a slow rotation of the hips may seem modest, but it creates a controlled environment in which the nervous system can focus on muscle recruitment without distraction from balance challenges or external perturbations. Science demonstrates that isolated, low-risk contractions performed with attention enhance motor cortex activation more effectively than movements performed under strain or instability. In older adults, this focused engagement is crucial because cortical representation of muscles declines naturally with age if the muscles are underused or poorly recruited. By moving safely and deliberately, healthy elders maintain or even restore these neural connections, preserving the ability to generate strength when it is functionally needed. The emphasis on safety also influences psychological readiness. Fear, even at a subtle level, can inhibit muscle activation and reduce coordination. Healthy elders often approach movement with calm curiosity rather than urgency, which encourages the nervous system to allow fuller muscular engagement. This psychological state is reinforced by repeated experience. Over time, the body learns that movement, even slow or small, does not threaten its integrity. Muscle fibers, connective tissues, and joints respond not only to mechanical load but to the signals of the nervous system regarding intention and threat. A safe, intentional movement allows fibers to contract efficiently, tendons to stretch appropriately, and joints to distribute force evenly. This reduces wear, prevents injury, and maintains mobility over decades. Safety also creates the conditions for consistency. When an exercise is low risk and approachable, it becomes easier to repeat regularly. Healthy 80-year-olds often move multiple times throughout the day, rather than relying on one intensive session. This repetition, when performed in a safe context, compounds neurological and muscular benefits. The nervous system continues to refine patterns, muscles maintain strength, and the body's overall coordination improves. Even minor daily movements, executed with attention and care, accumulate into significant long-term resilience. Furthermore, the deliberate creation of safety extends beyond formal exercise. Posture while standing, sitting, or walking, and even choices in footwear or environmental navigation, all contribute to a sense of stability. Healthy elders are attentive to these details not as a rule but as a natural adaptation. By reducing unnecessary stress on muscles and joints and by signaling to the nervous system that movement can proceed without threat, they optimize their body's capacity to function. This approach prevents overcompensation in other muscles, minimizes chronic tension, and preserves balance, coordination, and energy efficiency. Perhaps most importantly, the focus on safety allows healthy elders to engage with movement as a dialogue rather than a demand. Each motion becomes an experiment in alignment, muscle activation, and sensory feedback. The body communicates subtly about what it can do comfortably, and the brain interprets these signals to refine movement patterns in real time. Over years, this creates a quiet but profound advantage. Muscles remain active, joints remain functional, and the nervous system continues to integrate complex motor patterns without unnecessary risk. Strength, balance, and resilience emerge not from intensity, but from consistency within an environment that the body recognizes as secure, predictable, and nurturing, demonstrating that safety is a prerequisite for sustainable function, graceful movement, and healthy longevity. Another defining characteristic of healthy 80-year-olds is how the benefits of their daily habits ripple far beyond any single muscle or joint. The careful attention they pay to movement, posture, and engagement creates a cascade of positive effects throughout the body, influencing balance, stability, circulation, and even cognitive function. When glutes, core muscles, and postural stabilizers are activated consistently, the pelvis regains a stable foundation. This stability propagates upward to the spine, reducing unnecessary tension in the lower back and allowing the vertebrae to move more freely. When the pelvis is aligned and muscular support is reliable, the body naturally distributes forces efficiently during walking, bending, or lifting. Knees, which often bear excessive stress when hip and gluteal muscles are weak, benefit from this redistribution. Instead of absorbing rotational and compressive forces, they move in harmony with the larger muscular system, reducing pain, wear, and fatigue. Healthy elders demonstrate that even subtle improvements in one area, such as consistent glute activation, can lead to systemic improvements that enhance daily life in profound ways. Balance, a critical determinant of independence at advanced age, is also deeply influenced by these foundational patterns. Balance is not governed solely by the feet or inner ear, it is a whole body phenomenon in which muscles, joints, and the nervous system work in concert. When hip and core muscles function reliably, the body corrects for perturbations more effectively, and smaller stabilizing muscles do not have to overcompensate. Healthy elders often move in ways that reinforce lateral stability, weight shifts, and proprioception, giving them confidence in single-leg support and smoother transitions during daily tasks. Their nervous system learns that the body can respond predictably to shifts in position, which reduces the cognitive load of movement. This creates a sense of effortless stability, where standing, walking, or bending is no longer stressful or energy-intensive but fluid and natural. Even minor changes in muscle recruitment, repeated over time, produce significant improvements in balance, coordination, and fall prevention. Circulation is another subtle yet vital area influenced by these daily habits. Engaging large muscles consistently, especially in low-impact, controlled ways, improves blood flow to the hips, legs, and core. Improved circulation supports nutrient delivery to tissues, waste removal, and neural communication. In older adults, this enhanced blood flow can contribute to reduced inflammation, better joint health, and improved cognitive clarity. Each gentle contraction or carefully executed movement acts as a pump, assisting the cardiovascular system without imposing excessive strain. Healthy elders often integrate these movements into the natural rhythm of their day, creating a cumulative circulatory effect that sustains energy and tissue health over decades. Beyond the physical, there is a psychological component that intertwines with these systemic benefits. Confidence grows when the body demonstrates consistent performance and stability. Healthy 80-year-olds report feeling less apprehension about movement and daily tasks, and this confidence encourages more activity, which reinforces muscular and neural engagement. Fear of falling, stiffness, or injury diminishes because the body has repeatedly shown that it can respond predictably and safely. The nervous system no longer interprets ordinary movement as a threat, reducing tension and improving coordination. This interplay between body and mind creates a reinforcing loop. Functional ability supports confidence, and confidence encourages continued movement, which sustains function. Another layer of benefit is proprioceptive refinement. When muscles, particularly those in the hips, core, and back, are engaged regularly, sensory feedback from joints and tissues to the brain improves. This heightened awareness allows subtle corrections to posture and movement patterns, further enhancing balance, stability, and fluidity. Over years, the body essentially retrains itself to move efficiently, relying on the right muscles at the right time and avoiding overuse of smaller, less capable structures. This leads to a graceful economy of movement that protects the joints, preserves strength, and maintains independence. Even small, consistent daily actions, performed with attention and safety, create these cascading effects. What may appear as modest seated glute activations, light stretches, or short walks actually lay the foundation for systemic harmony. Muscles learn to coordinate effectively, joints move more freely, circulation improves, and neural patterns are reinforced. The mind grows confident, alert, and relaxed, and the body responds by maintaining function and stability. Healthy 80-year-olds exemplify how deliberate attention to foundational movements produces a wide array of physical, neural, and emotional benefits, allowing the body to operate efficiently, gracefully, and resiliently, demonstrating that the true power of daily habits lies not in isolated strength but in the holistic optimization of the entire system over time. Perhaps the most remarkable quality of healthy 80-year-olds is their understanding that longevity and strength are cultivated not through extremes, but through gentle, consistent, and intentional habits. They recognize that the body responds best when it is treated as a collaborator rather than a machine to be pushed, and they approach each day with a balance of attention, respect, and curiosity. This awareness extends to movement, nutrition, rest, and mental engagement. Over decades, this philosophy has a compounding effect. Small actions, repeated consistently, create profound improvements in function, energy, and resilience. Whereas many people assume that aging requires dramatic interventions or intense exercise routines, these elders demonstrate that modest, well-chosen practices, performed with patience, often outperform aggressive strategies that the body cannot sustain. One of the key principles underlying their approach is that the nervous system thrives on predictability, safety, and clarity. Every gentle movement or low-impact exercise they perform sends precise signals to the brain, reinforcing muscle activation patterns that might otherwise weaken over time. Large muscles, particularly those in the hips, glutes, and core, are regularly recruited without strain, ensuring that force is distributed efficiently and that smaller stabilizing muscles are not forced into compensatory overuse. This consistency maintains balance, reduces joint stress, and preserves functional strength. Neuroscience confirms that the brain's motor cortex retains plasticity well into old age, but the signals it receives must be clear, frequent, and non-threatening. Healthy elders instinctively provide this clarity, creating conditions in which the nervous system can maintain communication with the body and adapt efficiently to changing demands. Beyond the nervous system, the principle of gentle consistency influences circulation, metabolism, and connective tissue health. Slow, deliberate movements promote blood flow without causing spikes in blood pressure or overloading joints. This improved circulation supports tissue repair, nutrient delivery, and neural function. Additionally, repetitive low-impact engagement encourages collagen maintenance in tendons and ligaments, preserving joint integrity over decades. Even seemingly minor actions, standing from a chair carefully, rotating the hips, lifting the arms with awareness, become critical reinforcements of systemic health when performed habitually. These micro-investments in the body accumulate over years, sustaining mobility, stability, and comfort in ways that sporadic intense effort rarely can. Mental and emotional factors are equally significant. Healthy 80-year-olds approach their bodies with a mindset of curiosity rather than judgment. They observe sensations, respect limits, and adjust actions accordingly, which reduces fear and tension. Chronic stress, fear of falling, or overexertion can trigger maladaptive neural responses that inhibit muscle recruitment, increase inflammation, and elevate stress hormones. By moving deliberately and within safe bounds, these elders cultivate calmness and resilience, allowing both body and mind to function optimally. Over time, this creates a reinforcing loop. The body responds predictably, confidence grows, and continued engagement becomes effortless and even enjoyable. Another critical aspect of their approach is sustainability. They choose movements and habits that can be maintained indefinitely rather than short-term interventions that cause strain or exhaustion. Consistency, rather than intensity, drives their success. Daily repetition of safe, deliberate actions ensures that neural pathways remain active, muscles stay recruited, and functional abilities are preserved. This is why small, thoughtful practices, like seated glute activation, gentle stretching, short walks, or mindful posture adjustments, can produce more meaningful long-term benefits than sporadic high-intensity workouts. The effects are subtle at first but compound significantly over months and years, sustaining independence, coordination, and vitality. Finally, healthy elders demonstrate an integrated understanding of health as holistic rather than segmented. Movement, rest, nutrition, and mental engagement are not treated as separate domains, they interact synergistically. The body learns to respond efficiently, the mind remains alert and calm, and daily life is experienced with stability and ease. Strength is not measured by speed or power, but by function, balance, and adaptability. By engaging consistently, mindfully, and with respect for the body's limits, they embody the principle that gentle, intentional effort compounded over time is the most effective strategy for maintaining health, independence, and resilience into advanced age. Their approach highlights a profound truth. Longevity and functional vitality are the natural outcomes of daily choices executed thoughtfully, sustainably, and with awareness, demonstrating that aging gracefully is less about fighting time and more about cultivating harmony between body, brain, and behavior. If you found these insights helpful and want to continue learning practical, science-backed strategies to stay healthy, strong, and vibrant as you age, don't forget to like this video, share it with friends and family who could benefit, and subscribe to our channel for daily senior wellness tips, nutrition guidance, and simple lifestyle hacks designed to enhance longevity and quality of life. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video that can help you live healthier, happier, and more empowered every day.